And someone created a character, and somebody else came on the internet, played against him and killed his character. And the net result was that he tracked that person down, found out where he lived, went across town to find him and killed him. Because he'd killed his online character. He killed his online character, so he found him, he tracked him down and he went and killed him. This is how obsessed they are getting with this game. This is how obsessed the games are affecting our minds today. Allah Azza wa Jalla says to us that this life is nothing but a game. This life is nothing but a sport. The hereafter, that is the true world, if only we realize. In the same way that if you play a game, whatever game you play, be it football, be it any computer game, when you're playing this game, or you're watching a game, you're watching a football match, you get all emotional. You want your team to win. You get upset when your team's not winning. If they're not playing properly, you get upset. Your emotion, your anger and everything. And then the final whistle's blown. And you realize it's just a game. And you calm down. But my dear brothers, the final whistle is going to get blown on our lives as well. And then we're going to realize that this dunya was just a game. This dunya is just a game. The hereafter, that is the true life. If only we could be prepared for it. A lot of us in our houses now, we have these PlayStations and we have these computer games. And our children ask us to buy them games and we buy them. Or we even give them money and tell them to go and buy them. Do we ever check what games they're actually playing? Do we ever look at the classifications on these games? These games have classifications on them. They have classifications that E is for everyone. E10 plus is for 10-year-olds. Teen for the teenagers. M for mature. A0 for adults only. Now these classifications, they're not Islamic classifications. Don't think that because it says teen on there, that it's okay for your teenager. These are not Islamic classifications, but I feel that we're not even checking out on these classifications now. We don't even check what our children are playing. We think it's a harmless game. It's not having an effect on them. But in these games, racial tendencies, violent tendencies, I haven't seen any games that teach you the respect of parents. I haven't seen any games that teach you how you should live your life. The majority of these games are teaching you how to be violent. How to be violent and not be punished for being violent. To in fact be rewarded for being violent. This is happening on us. And this game culture, be it online or whatever, is affecting all of us. Some of our brothers again use the internet to acquire knowledge, and this is a good thing. But again, you must be very careful. Because I could open up a site tomorrow, and I could call it, I don't know, askthemufti.com. And you could come on that site, you could ask me any question. And I have no knowledge, and I could answer that question. And you think, oh, it's a mufti that's answering my question. So whenever you go on the sites to acquire the knowledge of the deen, make sure these sites are authentic. Don't just go on and think, oh, this is the right answer. Because when you go on these sites, you're getting all sorts of answers coming back. Who knows that the other side of that's answering your question is actually a mufti? Or it's somebody just like me who knows nothing? You need to make sure you get these sites authenticated. Ask the ulama ikram, because they know the sites, they know what's happening as well. Ask the scholars of Dawat-e-Islami, they will tell you what sites to go to. Go to dawat-islami.net, that site. Acquire the knowledge from these sites. Use the net. I'm not saying don't use the net. But make sure you go to the right sites when you go on the net. So, my dear brothers, what are we going to do about all this? We know full well, my dear brothers, that if there is a fire next door and we don't do anything to put that fire out, that fire is going to come to our house. And we also know that this country is now our home. Whatever you think about this country, good, bad or ugly, this is our home. So it is now our duty to clean up this home. It is our duty to keep this home clean. It is our duty to put out the fire next door, because otherwise it will affect us. And unfortunately, we've delayed this action. And that fire is already affecting us. That fire is affecting our youngsters, our children, our sisters, our brothers, our families. So unless we do something now, I don't know what is going to happen. So the first thing we need to realize is that this problem exists, because the majority of us nowadays, we don't even think that the problem exists. We just blinkered and think, I'm all right, I'm going to the masjid, I'm coming home, I'm going to the masjid. And we don't realize what is affecting us around us. What is affecting our children, what is affecting our families. So that's the first thing that we have to do. We have to realize that the problem exists. Then, we come on to the mission statement of Dawat-e-Islami. And the mission statement of Dawat-e-Islami is that I must try to rectify myself and the people of the whole world. Inshallah. So in this mission statement, first of all, I have to sort myself out. I have to keep myself away from these sins. I have to safeguard myself. and make sure that I'm alright. Not only that, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, save yourself and your family from that fire whose fuel is stones and men. So it's a command from Allah Azza wa Jalla to save yourself and your family. So once you can save yourselves and you can save your family, then you need to do something to help your fellow Muslim brother out there. That's not as fortunate as you. That's not as strong as you. So we have to do these things. The second thing that we have to do is we have to start giving our children some time. Some quality time. Unfortunately today, the majority of us are so busy running after the dunya. So busy earning money. So busy building that big bank balance. So busy building that big koti back home that we forget that we need to give our children some time. My dear brothers and respected elders, if when you enter that dark and lonely grave, if you leave a bank balance of £1 million for your child, then that bank balance will disappear. Because that child won't appreciate that money. He'll spend it and it'll disappear. And you won't benefit from it. And your child will benefit from it for a short period of time, but then it'll be back to square one. But if you instill in the heart and mind of your child Iman, if you instill in the heart and mind of your child the love of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the love of the deen, and when you enter that dark and lonely grave and you don't have a bank balance, you don't have a koti to give to your son, you have nothing, but you put Iman in your child, then you will benefit in the grave. Your son will benefit in this dunya and your son will benefit in the hereafter. That Iman that you put with him will last forever, but that money, it'll disappear. So we need to give our children some time. We need to give our children quality time as well. Not just come home at 10 o'clock at night when we're shattered, lie down on the couch and think we've given our child an hour. No, that's not good enough, my dear brothers. We are told that the child line on this, in the UK, the child line, they get over 100 calls every week from children complaining that they are lonely. That they have nobody to talk to. That the parents don't give them any time. These are just the people that phone up. What about our children? Think to yourself that we run after dunya, we run after these things. What time do we give to our children? What we do instead is, instead of giving them time, we give them these computers, we give them these games, we give them a TV, and we use that as a cheap babysitter. That's a cheap babysitter. The child's quiet now, he's not giving me any grief. I put him in front of the TV, I brought a computer for him, I bought a PlayStation for him, he's quiet now. And you think that you have done your duty. By just buying them something, you have not fulfilled your duty as a parent. You have to give them time. You have to give them tarbiyat. You have to learn them. You know, in this country, it is more important. The parents' tarbiyat is more important. I'll give you a small example. That I was once in Pakistan, and I was just informed. I'd just come from the PCO, and my father phoned up and he said to me that, "Beta, I'm coming, but don't tell anybody. I'm going to give everybody a surprise." So I get into the rickshaw, and as I'm coming home, my cousin, I said to him, "MashaAllah, it's going to be great that Budgie is going to come, and we're not going to tell anybody." Yeah. And I was so excited, and the rickshaw driver turned around to me and he said, "Beta, say inshallah." And this is about 20 years ago. And I never forgot this. And I thought that this is Pakistan, a Muslim country. That the person that's driving the rickshaw is giving me a nasiya, is giving me advice. That's not going to happen in this country. Would the taxi driver ever turn around to you and say, "Beta, say Bismillah, say Inshallah"? Would the bus driver ever do this? And so because of this, we realize that our duty as parents is even more. Because they're not going to get that Islamic influence from anywhere. You are going to give them the Islamic influence. We need to think about this. If our children can speak Urdu, if our children can speak Punjabi, if our children can speak Gujarati, it's because we speak Urdu, we speak Gujarati, we speak Punjabi. If our children can swear, why is this? Why do our children swear? Is that not because we swear as well? Are we doing these things as well? We need to ask ourselves, what education are we giving our children? What upbringing are we giving our children? What time are we giving our children? So we need to start giving our children time. The third thing that we have to do is we have to change our own mindset. We have to change the way we think so that when we see evil, we recognize it. The problem at the moment when we see a sin being committed in front of us, we don't even recognize it. We don't even realize that we are doing wrong. We don't realize our children are doing wrong. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our mindset in such a way that when we see things affecting our children, we are able to recognize it. And also have a mindset that we are going to do something about this. In Dawat-e-Islami, this is called the Madani Zan. the Madani mind.